Hello everybody, I'm Passera, and this is a 102 Dalmatians TAS. So, I worked on this with Avuka, who is unable to join me, and I also want to give shoutouts to Custom, who's worked on previous TASs of this game. And this is the all levels category. We can use any of the out of bounds tricks that we want to. We can also use all of the inbounds movement stuff. So people don't expect 102 Dalmatians to be flashy, but you are going to see us go through walls that you expect to be solid. We're going to use enemies to get ahead in ways that you didn't think were possible. We're going to get insane speed boosts that basically teleport us to the end. And so it's gotten a lot of really great feedback on TAS videos. And it's gotten a lot of really great feedback from other people that we've shown it to. So I would really love to show it off here. I had a lot of fun making it, and I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. So I'd love to share that with others. Right here, you're not going to see me doing TAS. This is not the TAS. This is me showing off some of the tricks, because the TAS is 16 minutes of action, and I don't have time to explain everything in those 16 minutes. So instead, I'm going to do a little bit of a trick primer beforehand. We're going to show you some of the basics. This first one, this is just me rolling on a slope. You can see I made it about to the beginning of this pillar. And that's important because now I'm going to show you a slope boost. And a slope boost is going to gain a lot more speed than that. When you jump and roll on a slope, your vertical speed gets transferred to your horizontal speed. And so you can see we went a lot further because we went a lot faster. And that's going to form the basis of a lot of movement. This next trick is a ledge clip. We're going to fall off this ledge in just the right way that we clip into it. And so just like that, we were clipped into it. Unfortunately, we hit the third rail down there and that bounced us back up, but there's other places in the game where it's a lot more useful than that. This next one is an object clip. You can see that this crate is really close to the wall, and that's important because we're going to need to trap the puppy between the wall and the object to clip out of bounds. And so you can do this with stationary objects like this crate. You can also do it with enemies and friendly NPCs. But those are going to be a little harder to do just because they move and they die and stuff like that. But you're definitely going to see it in the TAS. And now we're out of bounds. And once you're out of bounds, you can kind of float, chill, explore. That's one of the really fun things about speedrunning this game. But that's not what we're here for. We're here for speedrunning and going fast to a goal. So this next thing that I'm going to show you is a wall clip. And this is the last thing before we start the TAS. So wall clips happen in places where the developers didn't add collision. They're usually in places that you're not supposed to get to. So like we got here from out of bounds, you're not supposed to be here, and you can just jump through this wall. And there's other places like that where you can get them with really tight jumps or really tight platforming that you're not supposed to get to, or at least they don't expect you to get to. And you can jump through the walls in those places too. So those are the basics. Those are the basic pieces that we're going to put together and build upon during this TAS to make us go really fast. So, like I said, this is the 4th version of the all levels TAS. Avuka's worked on all of them, so Avuka definitely deserves a lot of credit for the advances that we've made in this game. But without further ado, I'm going to reset the console, and we're going to start. And we get the wonderful PlayStation startup sound. So I'm not going to start the timer yet, because I'm going to start the timer when an RTA run would start the timer, so that you guys can see that and compare to what an RTA run looks like. This, as you probably noticed, this is the PlayStation version. It was released on PlayStation, Dreamcast, and PC. PlayStation has, awesome TAS tools, so that's what we're using. It's actually not the fastest. Dreamcast is faster than PlayStation. PC is faster than Dreamcast, but this TAS is still really fast. So this corresponds to the all levels out of bounds category for the RTA leaderboards. And time is going to start when I skip this cutscene. So 3, 2, 1, go. And we're off, and you're going to see a ledge clip right away right here. So fast you can hardly tell. So we clipped into that ledge, we hit the loading zone, it transported us to the end, and that was the first level. We're done. This next one is Toy Store. And Toy Store is a great example of just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. So we can actually get out of bounds right in this first room, but it's not faster to do that, because if you do that, then you have to roll through the void all the way to the end, and it turns out that's actually very far away. So it's faster to do slope boosts. That was actually a little bit of a boost right there even, and we're going to get another boost here. So we want to do all these different boosts to get through the level inbounds quickly, because that will let us take the proper loading zones to get places faster. And this is an out of bounds here. And we're going to clip underneath the slope to get a boost and get all the way to the end right there. And that's it. Toy Store's done. And now we're on to Piccadilly. So Piccadilly is, it was one that was all inbounds for a really long time. And it's not that we couldn't get out of bounds. We could. But because of the shape of the level, which is kind of long and straight, and because of the walls, there's invisible walls all over the place, it just wasn't faster. But then Custom found a way to clip out of bounds with Fidget, this squirrel right here. And so using Fidget, we get out of bounds on this side, and then it just looks like White Void, but actually what we're doing, we're aiming for a very specific trigger to trigger a manhole, because these manholes are used to transport the puppy from one side of the level to the other. So if we hit this manhole trigger, it will actually transport us to the end of the level, instead of us having to roll all the way there. And so just like that, we're done. And now we're on to Big Ben. So Big Ben in RTA runs, Big Ben's a run killer. But this is the TAS, so we're going to get it first try. And the first thing that's going to happen once we get out of this room is going to be Heliclip. Heliclip is helicopter clip. We're going to use a helicopter toy to get out of bounds. And the reason that this is so complicated is because you have to get the helicopter to die in just the right place against the wall so that you can get out of bounds. And you also have to get out of bounds fast enough that the helicopter doesn't disappear, because once you kill an enemy, it only sticks around for so long before it's gone. So you saw a Heliclip really fast. You're going to see another one right here. Now that you know what's happening, you can kind of watch it and understand what's going on. So just like that, this is another enemy clip with a different type of enemy. And then we're going to hit this loading zone here, because again, it would take a lot longer to just roll through the void all the way over to this room. And another Heliclip right here gets us up top and all the way to the end. And now we're going to fight the first boss fight against Cruella. And a really quick sketch of the plot here. Cruella has a line of toys that is failing. That's what all the enemies are. They're all toys. And so she's decided that she needs to kidnap all the pets in England and turn them into toys, because that would be better than her failing toy line. So I don't know what she was really thinking there, but that's the plot. We're saving our siblings. What's happening here is we're going to hit the bell and hit Cruella with pineapples, because she hates fruit. And you have to go fast, but not too fast, because if you go too fast, you'll actually soft lock. So that's a problem. That's a common theme with Cruella fights. Fast, but not too fast. And now we're on to Royal Museum. So in this one, this is one of my favorites. It's a longer level, which gives you a lot more opportunity to do cool things. And so we have to fetch artifacts and bring them back to Fluffy. So every time you get an artifact, you have to go back to Fluffy, which is what you're going to see. And this first time, to get back to Fluffy faster, we're going to void out. We're going to jump into the void and then release controls so that we sink to the bottom, and that will spawn us back at the beginning for Fluffy. This next one is the crowning achievement of the early part of this TAS. It's an up warp. Watch this. Right there. That was... It's over in a second, but let me tell you, that's huge. That is the first useful up warp in this game. We've been seeing these up warps for years, and we haven't been able to explain them or replicate them. We know now what's happening is the puppy's gaining a huge amount of vertical speed for just a frame or two, and then so it flings the puppy up, and in that case, what was happening, it looked like we teleported through the roof, but really it was just a whole bunch of speed. And there's only specific spots that you can do them in, so we still don't understand that yet, but the fact that we have a useful up warp is amazing. This is going to be a levitation boost, so we gain a bunch of speed from getting trapped by Fluffy, and then we just kind of like fly around the room until we get the crown. It's really awesome. And then now we're going to do a damage boost off of this donut right here, or off of this toast, sorry. We're going to use the toast to get to the donut. There we go. And with that, we're done. You might be asking why we grabbed a donut, and the answer is Fluffy wanted a snack. He knows that we're trying to save all of our brothers and sisters from Cruella, and he still wants a snack. So, that's Fluffy. Next up after Royal Museum, we're going to be headed back to Underground, which you've already seen, but not like this. So, this is actually something that was discovered by G-Correct really recently. It's not RTA viable, but it's really awesome. So normally in RTA, we do this slope boost, we hit the train, and the train gives us a bunch of speed, but if you hit the wall in just the right place, you go through. So you go through and you roll straight to the end, and just like that, it's over. You're done. And that was underground. And now we're on to Carnival. Carnival is just a long straight line. This, you can see, this is kind of what the game would look like if we didn't get to do all those tricks. So there's a lot of stuff going on the side, like there's a lot of activities you can do, mini games and rooms to explore, but we don't have to do any of that because the exit's right here. So we just kind of roll there, and that's it. And now we're on to Lumber Mill. So surprisingly, we're going to do the very beginning of Lumber Mill the way that you're intended to. We're going to jump up on this seesaw, do a little dance, and then roll up here. But this is where it gets cool. We're going to use this tank to get out of bounds, and you're going to see it disappears right at the moment that we get out of bounds, which is so cool. But we got out of bounds, so it doesn't matter. And now we can roll to the end. And there we go. And now we're already on to Corella 2, so we're already about halfway through the game. Like, once we've beaten Corella 2, that's halfway through the game. And so, Corella can move left or right. We only want her to move left, though, so that is some RNG manip that we do. You notice we switched dogs. You probably didn't even know that there were 2 dogs. And in fact, Corella 2 is already over, and I can't even explain all this. There are 2 dogs. Before we were Spotted, we were Domino. Now we have no spots. We're Oddball. Oddball says that cutscene a little bit faster. It's like 0.2 seconds faster to be Oddball during that cutscene. So we want to switch dogs. And if we switch dogs during Corella 2, we get the convenience of now each dog does it half. Usually in speedruns, people switch more towards the beginning, and Domino never gets any time. So we're going to give Domino some time to shine in this TAS. And this is a bunch of slow boosts. You can watch for the slow boost, but this is also a really great time for donations. I can also, of course, you know, keep talking, but let's assume we have some donations. There's really not a lot of time for donations here, so this is one of them, and there's another one later on. Because the end of Countryside and then the beginning of Barnyard, I mean, there's still stuff. I could always keep talking, but it's also a really great opportunity to take a break a bit. Because there's not a lot of tech here. I mean, we're doing things. So Barnyard is another task-based level. We have to do 5 tasks before we can leave. And so the first task was to put the water on. We did that. The next task is to fix the windmill. So we're going to go over here, jump to the top. And we're going to actually do a slow boost off the side of that. So that is something cool to watch out for. It's a really big slow boost. There we go. And this is where it gets cool. This is where donations need to end, because I don't even know if I can explain it fast enough as it's happening. We're going to take some damage off of this bulldozer. We're going to then use the bulldozer to get out of bounds. The damage is important later. We get on top of the barn, go through a part with no collision, and then we're going to hit a slope and get a slope boost while we're out of bounds. And we hit the rooster. Watch the rooster. There he goes. He died like a toy would, so for some reason they made him into a toy, even though normally he would crow during each time the hens get in. We have 3 hens we have to get in. He would crow for each one and waste time with a cutscene. He could also soft lock. He's the bane of my existence sometimes, so it's really exciting to me that we get to destroy him in the TAS. And that was that. We're going to do it all again now for a different thing. This next task, we have to empty the silo. So again, we got that really big slow boost. Normally you would go to where the silo is inbounds, and then you'd enter it, and it would transport you to the inside of the silo, which is stored in this out of bounds area. But it turns out that you can actually use the faucets while you're out of bounds. You can still hit the triggers for them. And so we're just going to do that, and then drop inputs during that last part of the cutscene, and it takes you back, it spawns you back with Priscilla, who's that pig right there. For this last task, we do need to grab this key here. So we grab the key, because we're going to drive a tractor into the farmer's outhouse. And we're going to do another heliclip. We love heliclip. And the heliclip's just another way to do exactly what we've already done before. We're going to get a slow boost and go really fast to the tractor. So this actually, we're back in bounds now. And now, all the damage that we've taken has been on purpose. This is for a death warp right here, so that we once again go back to Priscilla. It is Priscilla's birthday. You might notice she's wearing a hat. We could give her a present, but it's not fast to do that, so we're not going to. And that's Barnyard. And so the next one is Ice Festival. This uses a variation of what we do in RTA. It's called Penguin Clip. Normally, you get pinned by the penguin, and then you have to jump at just the right time so that you take damage from the penguin and go through the wall. And that is only a few frames that you have to do that. It's very precise. So for this one, though, there's a variation called damageless. And just right there was no damage taken. We just jumped through the wall. And we've seen that a few times in RTA, and it's been unable to be replicated up to that point. But we got it. We got it in the TAS. That's huge. And that saves some time because you don't have to wait for the penguin to do damage to you. You can just jump right away. For this one, we're going to do a fun ledge clip, but first we're going to get into that loading zone instead of hitting the lever, and then just jump into the side of that. That was a ledge clip. It was kind of hard to tell that that's what was happening because you just so smoothly go through it, but that's what that was. You want to hit this knight very precisely so that it hits the wall and bounces back. And that's important because that saves time. Otherwise, this would be slower than doing it other ways. But because you can get the knight toy to bounce back, you can do the clip faster. And now we're on to Corella 3. So, Corella 3, now we get pumpkins. Once again, Corella really hates fruit. So we get pumpkins. We have to hit out 6 of these blocks. And we're going to do very specific movements so that we manipulate Corella to be in the right spot. So, we want to walk left this way so that we're in Corella's blind spot when she turns around. And that's important because, you see, she walks all the way left without throwing anything at us. So that means that she's going to be on the left side when she pulls the lever right there, and she's going to walk left again afterwards, which is right in our range. So we hit her once here, and then when she's behind this wall and turns sideways, for some reason her hitbox sticks through and we can just keep hitting her. And that's it. That's Corella 3. We've defeated her 3 times out of 4. That means we only have 5 levels left. And now we're on to Spooky Forest. So this is another one that is... it's entirely in bounds, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have a lot going on. So this one definitely makes use of slope boosts. Not so much at the beginning, but watch for another levitation boost. Remember, a levitation boost is the one that happened when we used Fluffy on the pyramid to go fly around the room. In this case, we're going to use this toy soldier up here to do a levitation boost right here and just zoom to the end. The camera can't even catch up. We go so fast. And that was it. That was Spooky Forest. And so this is Hedge Maze. We actually did a ton of work on Hedge Maze, trying to work out the RNG, how to make the puzzle faster, because there's a whole lot going on with that. Turns out it's not faster than just going out of bounds and rolling through the void for a very long time. So, unfortunately, Hedge Maze is orange and boring, and a great time for donations. And since we don't have any donations right now, obviously, I can talk a little bit about what we did. The puzzle can take anywhere from 9 to 27 turns, and so we calculated all the frequencies for the different numbers of turns. We figured out, how we could possibly get it to be the fewest number of turns possible, and then none of it mattered. Orange Void is faster. And now we're on to DeVille Manor. So this time we get to use Toast to get out of bounds. Who doesn't love Toast? You didn't know your Toast could do this. So we get Toastbot lined up in a very specific spot so that when we get close to the wall, the Toast hits us into the floor, and then hits us out of bounds. So the barks are frame perfect to cancel the damage animation. That actually is just for fun. It doesn't do anything, but it looks really cool because you just kind of slowly sink into the floor. And there we go. That was actually a boost at the end too, a boost on the underside of that slope. And so now we're on the last platforming level before the last boss fight. This is Toy Factory. Toy Factory has one of the hardest tricks that we do in RTA, but actually we're not even going to do that. We're going to do something even harder. We're going to do something that couldn't possibly be done in RTA. Not this. This you could do. But in the next room, I can't even fully explain it before it happens, but I will give you the lead up. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get a boost off these crushers. This boost is going to fling us onto this platform on top of the box. And then we're at the end. Ta-da! So what happened there is on top of that box, if you're in front of it, when it teleports back to the start of its path, you get all of the speed from that teleportation displacement. And so that gives us enough speed to go all the way to the end, and it even, it flings you through the wall. It's so fast. And now we're at the end. You saw we had a cannon. We defeated the first phase that fast. This next phase, we're actually going to do cannonless. We have our own cannonless. You're supposed to be hitting these guys with cannons, but we're actually doing a manipulation so that they are right at the front. That's what all this moving and barking and rolling is. All of those things affect the RNG. And so you can actually hit all of the robot heads right from the front without using a single cannon. And then now we have orbs. The last phase is orbs. You're only going to see that first orb because we're going to be so fast you're not even going to see the other orbs. Shooting Corella is just fun. It does absolutely nothing for the game because we only have to hit the orbs to beat it, and time is going to be on the third orb now. So you can see that was blazing fast. It was just over 16 minutes, and the world record for an RTA run is 18:49, and that is with longer load time, or sorry, with shorter load times. This game on PlayStation 1 has longer load times than the world record that was set on PlayStation 2. So it's insane how fast this TAS is. But I hope you had fun. Just for some logistics, this is on PlayStation, so it can't be console verified. So this is a recording, and the beginning of it was recorded too. So like the trick primer that I did is also recorded, so we don't have to change scenes or anything or worry about that. That was the 102 Dalmatians TAS. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It is so fun for me to watch, even after, you know, looking at it so many times. It just is awesome, and I would love to share it with other people. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope you had a good time.